On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Wada Abdela, 24-03634, parents, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Edward Zaney for on behalf of Mr. Abdela. He's present to my right with an interpreter.
My interpreter, state your name for the record.
Miraç Schneider, MIRETTE, Schneider, SCHNEIDER.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm to interpret in the matter before the court completely and accurately and not divulge confidential communication. Thank you. Today's the date that was reset for, I believe, a probable cause conference because the parties were still negotiating. I think, was there a request for another adjournment?
Today there is, yes, Your Honor.
It's my understanding defense counsel has been speaking to our lead prosecutor at the office and that there's still ongoing negotiations. So although we had anticipated that we would know what we were doing with the exam when we came back today, though that we don't, it sounds like with an additional adjournment, when we come back, we will have a resolution. So the people have no objection to an adjournment.
May 2nd. It's May 2nd at 9 work.
Give me a little bit more time than that, Your Honor.
Sounds good. May 22nd at 8:30.
That will work, yes, sir.
May 22nd at 8:30. Does your client have any questions?
No, thank you so much. We just have one question regarding bond, Your Honor. If I may.
Yes.
And it's just a permission for out-of-state travel. He has an elderly uncle who just had open heart surgery, lives in Tennessee. We're looking for permission to travel with his wife, my client's wife, to visit that uncle for 4 days.
What's the dates? Said to Tennessee.
Tennessee, Your Honor, and the dates would be the 21st. Okay, it'll be the 24th, Your Honor, to the 27th.
Of this month.
My bad, I was looking at the wrong calendar month. Oh, I wasn't. I'm getting old. Yes, the 24th to the 27th. I
Of April.
apologize. Of April, Your Honor. Yes.
April 24th to 27th. Permission is granted for travel to Tennessee for the purposes of visiting his family during those dates.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. Any additional matters?
No, Your Honor. Have a wonderful week and a great Easter.
Same to you.
Thank you.
What do you think my family thinks I do for a living? You don't work. Oh. You know what? Let's humor him. Okay, Mr. Ferguson is here for what matter? Oh, I see that. Okay. Mr. Neer has an exam. How are you running that?
Well, I'm going to be making a motion to adjourn, Your Honor. I'll let the
Okay.
court decide.
Okay, Mr. Austin has a sentencing. Are you ready on yours?
Mr. Kane is not here.
Mr. King's not here, but you spoke to Mr. King though. No?
Not since the plea taking, Your Honor.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, it should be choice.
Hearing held within his pre-sentence hearing.
No worries. And eventually. Thank you. Okay. Let's see, what's going on with Felipe Sotello. It's a probable cause conference.
I believe APA Berman is present on Zoom. He's gonna be handling that.
Okay,
I don't know if defense counsel.
they're all here, I believe.
Yeah, they are.
On the record, in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Felipe Sotello, 25-00926.
Thank you, Your Honor. Randall, whoop, I'm sorry.
Oh, Mr. Beerman, can I have your appearance?
Thank you, Your Honor. Randall Berman on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Judge Dwayne Boyd, P79612, on behalf of Mr. Sotello, who's present via Zoom. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Good morning, Felipe Sotello.
Okay, this matter was reset for today, and probable cause conference. We would have to, I believe, address the timeline. I don't see where I would have that addressed. Is this matter going to continue to an exam?
My understanding, Your Honor, the defense is requesting an adjournment so they can further go over the discovery. There's quite a large amount of discovery. I have no objection to that, but I can defer to Mr. Boyd for that purpose. Thank you.
That's an accurate recitation, Judge, and Mr. Sotello has an unrelated matter that's up for preliminary exam on 5/22. I would ask the court to reset the PCC to 5/22 if it's so inclined. And he's ready to waive the 21-day rule, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Sotello, you understand your right to have a preliminary examination within 21 days of the date that you were arraigned? I don't see it. Mr. Sotello's,
Connection had cut out, but yes.
okay. Did you hear what I said, or do you need me to repeat it? Can you hear me now?
I agree to waive it. Yes.
I'm not making out what you're saying.
I said yes, ma'am. I'm willing to.
I heard willing, and then I didn't hear the rest. You have a poor connection, sir.
Sorry about that. My connection is poor, but I'm ready to waive that 21 days.
Okay, is anyone threatening you to do that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it's May 22nd. May 22nd at 10:30.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day, everyone.
Same to you. You're all set for today.
Thank you, Judge. That's the date for the PCC then, 5/22 at 10:30?
That's my understanding, is that you want another PCC date.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want- Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. On the record, in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Brett Salsman, 24-02833, appearance, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson on behalf of Brett Saltzman, who's present by way of video conferencing today.
Today was the date set for sentencing. I do have a pre-sentence report and recommendation. It was prepared on April 4th. Counsel, did you get a copy of it?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we need to make corrections, updates, or deletions?
No corrections or deletions, but I will provide the court with an update. He did go to Bear River at the end of February for several days, Your Honor, did get released back into the community, and he has been meeting with Mid-Michigan Recovery Services and has a outpatient appointment set up for Tuesday with them, Your Honor.
Very good.
I don't have any additions or anything else to add with regards to the report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Nagel?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, the victim in this matter is present and before sentencing is issued, would like to address the court.
Mr. Ferguson, can you advise if the detainers are pending charges that had warrant status? Has that been addressed?
Your Honor, one of those I believe is a pending charge. Those have not been addressed to my knowledge, Your Honor.
Is that a bench warrant out of the 90th Circuit, or I'm sorry, 90th District Court in Petoskey? Let's see. And they're looking for a remand. There is another bench warrant in the 90th District for failure to pay a booking fee. And another one in the 90th Circuit, failure to appear disorderly. Mr. Salsman, when do you intend to address that?
As soon as possible. They're in northern Michigan, so I haven't been up there in quite a while, so I'm gonna have to call them and figure out what I have to do to resolve those issues.
So you have not made any attempts since being released from Bear River to address your bench warrants?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
Secretary victim here.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can come up so that you have to have a mic that picks up what you're saying. And you don't have, you can just go right there if you want to.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Please state your name for the
I'm
record.
Susan Salsman, and unfortunately, this is really sad. This is my son, and ideally, I only want for him to get the help that he needs. That's the only reason that I'm here. This has been an ongoing 20-year alcohol-related situation, that it's been so serious that I just can't have him in my home, because when he's there, he's drinking, and over the years, not recently, but he's been destructive, selling electronics from my home and putting holes in walls, keyed my car, and there's been no accountability. So in addition to the breaking of the PPO several times, this is not what I want. He's tried to get help, but he goes to detox for a few days. He's out and he immediately starts drinking. Supposedly he was in the hospital just a day ago, and came home and immediately started again. So he needs long-term rehab, and I know that's up to him. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, send him to a rehab facility that can help him, other than the court mandated one that's at Bear River. But he just is refusing to get the help that he needs. So if the court could help in any way, helping him to be accountable and responsible. He doesn't work. That's the majority of the problem, is that he doesn't work. So he has way too much time on his hands. But that's what's best for him still.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that. Mr. Salzman, you could hear the statements from the victim. That's your mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'd
Mr.
like to
Ferguson,
say,
well, I'm gonna let your attorney give allocution, and then if you want to say something, we'll let you do that.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do understand Ms. Salzman's sentiment here, Your Honor. This is a 93-day misdemeanor. I do believe he has credit for 74 days. Probation is recommending 12 months of probation, Your Honor, I'd ask for either two things today. He be given the credit for the time that he served. And he does need treatment, Your Honor, but it's up to him whether he's willing to do that. I believe that he would be. Or we can ask for the probation, Your Honor, leave that to the court. And I'll let Mr. Salsman address the court. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may just briefly, with respect to the plea offer in this matter, it was offered with the intent that Mr. Salzman be placed on probation so that he can have the court supervision while he's getting the treatment. So therefore, so that he would have the incentive to stick to the treatment, also get employment and keep employment, which are common conditions of probation. So the people would be asking that the defendant be placed on probation in this matter for the 12 months, so that I think it would be better for the defendant and give him a much better chance of this being the last time he appears before the court.
Why is Mr. Wallace crying? She's here for something else.
She's on the docket for 9 a.m.
Is Mr. Goodrich here?
Yes, he was. waiting
Oh,
for
okay.
him.
Sounds good. Okay. Mr. Salzman, you wanted to make a statement?
Yes, Your Honor. I've been voluntarily, getting help when I need it. I've been going to IOP and therapy and AA meetings. I'm sober now. I know my mother would like me to live in a rehab, but I've been to rehab quite a few times, and probation, I imagine, would be really difficult since I don't have transportation. I think I'm doing the right thing on my own, and I don't know what else to say or what else I can really do. I'm doing everything I can.
If you say you think you're doing okay on your own, meaning you don't believe you need court oversight?
Correct. I've been going outpatient on my own. I just think I'm not sure what probation all entails, but I can imagine that being.
It's going to be intensive for your purposes. It's going to entail you doing what the court ordered for you to do. And you're not at the minimal expressing any interest or intention to participate in probation. I don't have a clue why this offer was provided when he's on has a bench warrant for failure to appear for a probation violation in the first place. If that was the intention behind the offer, then the offer should be revoked, because he's not willing to do it. And he should move forward with his felony or the original charge. I'm not wasting my time, and I don't want to waste his. Mr. Feigelson, you can talk to your client, because that was the condition upon, it's on the plea sheet. That was the condition upon which he was giving this offer. If he doesn't want to do that, we can move forward with the aggravated stalking.
Good enough, Your Honor. I'll have a conversation with him. May I have a breakout room, please?
Off the record. Mr. Goodrich, is he online? Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I see your client.
Yes.
Veronica Wallace is present. Are you ready to proceed on that matter today?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Veronica Wallace, 25-00027, appearance.
Morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
And Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office, here to represent Ms. Lawless, who's appearing over Zoom this morning.
Today was the date scheduled for a probable cause conference. There's a child abuse third degree and a child abuse fourth degree. Are we continuing to exam at this time?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
People will be ready, Your Honor. An offer has been extended in this matter for the defendant to plead guilty to counts 2. The people would dismiss count 1. The people will leave that offer open till the day of the exam.
Okay, does Ms. Wallace, Marnie have any questions for the court at this time? Ms. Wallace, I recognize you've been, you're emotional. Did you have a question for the court, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well then we'll see you in person, April 17th at 9:30. Any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
You're all set.
Thank you.
We skip 1.
I just asked him what matter was he.
Oh, okay.
Never replied yet.
Is Copeland down with Judge Wood? Judge Buchanan?
Yes.
Okay. Lindsay Patton present?
I have not checked in with me. I'll check the hall.
Ms. Wallace, you're free to go.
That's who we skip 1 in.
Okay, that's Mr. Milk's client. Mr. Milk? I think your client is logging in. Did you need to speak with her?
No, I don't need to speak with him, Your Honor.
Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, very good. To him. Okay, on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Lindsay Patton, 25-00691, appearance, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen Milks on behalf of Mr. Patton. Mr. Patton appearing with us via Zoom, waiving in court appearance.
Today was the probable cause conference on this felony complaint, controlled substance manufactured delivery. I have several counts of weapons, felony firearm, possession by a prohibited person. And it's set to go to exam on the 17th of April at 9:30. Are we continuing to exam?
Yes, Your Honor, that is my understanding. At this time, we are still waiting on additional discovery, including some warrant affidavits, some body cam video that were mentioned in regard to police reports, and I'll keep in touch with the prosecutor's office to make sure that we're getting all the information we need before next week.
Okay. Any additional matters for the record?
Not for the people, Your Honor.
Not for the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll see you in person next week, Mr. Patton.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Back on the record in the matter versus Brett Salsman. I see Mr. Feigelson and Mr. Salsman is back. Mr. Feigelson, how does your client wish to proceed?
I've had a discussion with Mr. Saltzman. He is willing to do what is necessary on probation, is willing to do whatever the court orders. If that is inpatient treatment, he is willing to do that. I do know he has an assessment set for Tuesday. He is going to make sure a copy gets to probation. He did sign a release with Mid-Michigan Recovery Services, and I'm under the presumption from what Mr. Saltzman told me that he did do an assessment with them. Why that was never shared is I don't have an answer for that, Your Honor, but I do know he is doing one Tuesday with CMH, and he's going to make sure I get a copy. When I get a copy, I'll make sure it gets to probation. He is willing to go back to treatment, Your Honor, and I would ask that he be placed on a period of probation.
I reviewed the pre-sentence report, the recommendation, and his prior criminal history. I don't have a record that reflects him ever being successful on probation. Looks like every time he's been on probation, he's been revoked. Once again, I'm quite confused as to why this was even a consideration. However, I wasn't the one who extended the offer. You entered this agreement, Mr. Salsman, and to come before the court today, even after hearing the heartfelt sentiments from your mother, I don't even feel like I got enough acknowledgement or effort to take responsibility for your actions and how your actions are impacting your family members, primarily your mother. You're a 40-something-year-old man. Your mother shouldn't have to come into court and plead for you to get some help and stop terrorizing her life. This should not be the relationship that you hold with your mother at this stage in both your life and her life. So your pattern, including everything that I have here in my pre-sentence report and your criminal history, reflects not just a severe substance abuse issue, but a lack of maturity. There's no reason why you have several pending bench warrants and you have never been, you've been before the court and had multiple convictions that have placed you on probation, but you don't take accountability. And then you stand before me today and tell me essentially with no, and no uncertain terms that you're really not interested in doing this. I don't know what conversation you had with your attorney. That's none of my business, but I do not believe that that conversation that you had in that private meeting room is going to change your behavior. Because what you said was what you felt. You think you're fine on your own. And so the court's going to accept the recommendation because that's what you all pled to, and that's what you all agreed to for whatever reason. The term of probation will be 12 months, not 6. While on probation, you will be required to provide a substance abuse assessment once that is completed to probation. You'll follow all recommendations of treatment that probation provides. You are going to either be in a 12-step, it looks like they're requesting a regular attendance in a 12-step program, and you will be required to participate in random testing for substance abuse. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have to pay the fee for that. So I don't know what your finances are. I think you reported something to the effect in your meeting with probation that you just need to get a job. And then your mother has even indicated a concern that the primary reason why you are engaging in this behavior is because you got too much time on your hands because you don't work. I don't know how 40-year-old people in America don't work. But you're going to work or you're going to be sitting in jail for the balance of the time. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. I'm continuing the no contact order. You're not to be or have contact with Susan Salsman unless she returns to the court and requests to have that removed. You're not to be in any bars or nightclubs. You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol, marijuana, or controlled substance unless you have a valid prescription. You're not to possess or purchase a firearm, ammunition, or weapon of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You need to provide proof of employment. And you will attend the 12-step program as recommended by probation. Do you have any questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
There's a $75 crime victim rights fee that you will be assessed, plus a $50 state minimum cost that you will be assessed. There's a $30 per month oversight fee for probation for each month that you are on probation. So that's $360. And I'm assessing a fine of $360. You'll make monthly payments on that. So it's a total of 485 that you'll have an option or the opportunity to make monthly payments on. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about your fines and costs?
No, Your Honor.
There's an advice as to probation. It says you've been placed on a term of probation before the 54A District Court, and your terms are specifically tailored to address your assessed risks and needs. You do have the right to request early discharge from probation once you've completed half the original term ordered by the court, so long as you've not had any violations within the 90 days preceding the request. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
To make a request for early discharge, you need to use the court's MC 512 form. That's on the court website. You can get it from the probation department. If I set up for a hearing, you have the right to hire an attorney to represent you for that hearing. You do not have the right to be represented by court-appointed counsel for that hearing. If you file a request for early discharge, you need to serve a copy of the request on the prosecution's office and the probation department, and the prosecution has 14 days to respond in writing with any objections to your request. Do you have any questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
You need to report to my probation department within the next 2 business days, so that they can make sure that you're properly processed and ready to get started with your probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's by Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, you need to come in person.
Okay, Your Honor.
You check in with them. Any additional matters for the record?
Not for the people, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Nothing else on behalf of Mr. Salsman, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. You're all set.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Same to you. You're free to go, Mr. Salzman.
Okay, thanks, Your Honor.
Okay, I think the only thing you have left is Glavis.
Your Honor, I do have police witnesses here. I can start the exam today, but the victim's not going to be present because.
Okay, let me call the case on the record in
Okay.
the matter of the state of Michigan versus Joseph and Stephanie Glavis, 25-00708-707. Appearance, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Please court, Your Honor, Attorney Frank Narrett for both Mr. and Mrs. Glavis who are in the courtroom with me. And as you had commented last time, I have counseled them on the potential perils of dual representation. They understand their rights and they waive any
Okay, thank
potential
you.
conflict.
Thank you. That's correct. Yes, thank you. Today was the date scheduled for preliminary examination on both files. And Mr. Nagel, you were making a record.
Sorry, thank you, Your Honor. Yes, the victim is not present today. According to the victim, he was unable to take time off or to be here. And so he was unable to be present. However, with respect to how the investigation panned out in this case, I can begin the exam today with the officer witnesses who are currently present. But then I would have to request a continuance with the court's permission before we were able to finish the exam.
Counsel.
Please court, Your Honor, I would object to that. We're here, my clients are here. They attended the pre-exam conference. We were here a couple of weeks ago for the first scheduling of preliminary exam. Prosecutor's office requested a mitigation letter, which I promptly prepared and submitted to them. We're here today. The complaining witness and victim, and I'm just dying to read his rap sheet, but I'm not going to do that, isn't here today. There's no reason to bifurcate this if they're not prepared to proceed. I'd ask the charges be dismissed. I understand that that's without prejudice, but that's my request as to each file.
I'm assuming you're referencing The victim's rap sheets or something?
So-called Mr. Sterling, it's Jeremy Sterling.
Okay. You said Mr. Sterling's unable to take time off work?
According to Mr. Sterling, that's correct.
I don't know how many jobs will refuse you time off because you were a victim and you gotta go to court and you got a subpoena. I don't know how that works.
We have no information as to apparently supposedly where he's working or anything else. My information is he's a drug dealer full-time.
Full time. That was funny. Is the people's intention to reissue this?
That, as I was informed from my unit chief, that's correct.
Okay, well, it's not meaningful for me to dismiss this just for them to reissue it. And I'm on call, I'll get the warrant to be issued, then they gotta come back in here to be rearranged.
Well, but Your Honor, if I might, if this fellow doesn't show up again the next time, maybe after 2 or 3 times we go through this, the prosecutor's office may decide not to reissue again.
Well, I don't know about how many 2 or 3 times this will go through. I've never seen anything like that happen before me, but he's getting one chance. We'll give him time to get clearance from whoever his supervisor is. Even if what your statements were to be true, that he delivers pharmaceuticals full time, he may still report to someone.
He may well, I mean, yeah, there's a whole chain of command in that line of business, as I understand it.
Maybe he couldn't get time off. We'll go with that. And we will continue with the officers today, and then he'll get one chance to appear at this next court date for his testimony. And if he doesn't, then we can move on. But at least then we have a better record of his unwillingness to participate. He did at least have some conversation or communication with the prosecution's office. So that does lend to his credit that he does intend to participate. You can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people will call Officer Thomas Stover.
Good to go. Yes, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to file. It doesn't matter, I signed it. Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give us the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
I swear.
Your Honor, before we start, can I make an inquiry of the court, please?
You may.
There are 2 files here, one for Mr. Glavis, one for Mrs. Are we handling this preliminary exam as a joint exam on both case files, or we're going to take them one at a time?
The charges co-defendants?
Yeah, charges co-defendants, Your Honor.
We're handling that as one exam.
Okay, I thought there were 2 files, so I'm.
There's 2 files, but they're co-defendant files.
Gotcha.
I think the court rules typically require that the preliminary exam and co-defendant cases be tried at the same time. I believe the witness still needs to be sworn in.
I swear, man, but can you state your first and last name and spell both?
Tyler Stover, TYLER STOVER.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Stover, can you tell the court with whom you are currently employed, sir?
With the Lansing Police Department,
How long have you been employed with Lansing Police Department?
approximately 3 years.
And what are your current responsibilities with the police?
I work road patrol, so primarily responding to 911 calls.
Thank you, sir. Were you working in this capacity on March 5th of this year?
I was.
Were you involved in a felony traffic stop?
I was.
Can you tell the court about that, sir?
Yes. So on that date and time, we received a 911 call of a vehicle that was being pursued by another vehicle throughout the city. They were updating several different locations in the city. The victim's vehicle was a green Tahoe, and then he called 911 stating that a white van was following him. We came across that van and that truck at the intersection of Turner Street and Dwight, where we initiated a felony traffic stop on the white.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, do you happen to know, based on the dispatch, whether there was multiple 911 calls?
I don't recall.
Okay, that's fine. So, can you tell the court about how the felony traffic stop went down? Who arrived first? What did you do, sir?
So myself and Officer Pellegrino, we were partners for the day. In a canine unit, we initiated the traffic stop, and then a couple more officers arrived on scene to assist us in the traffic stop. We started the traffic stop, and we started calling the occupants of the green and white van out of the vehicle. While we were in the middle of doing that, another vehicle pulled up behind us. So we were parked facing west on Dwight Avenue. Turners are north and South Street. A white panel van containing Mr. and Mrs. Glavis pulled up behind us while we were on Dwight Avenue, and they got out of the vehicle and started talking to us. So we had to divert our attention from the felony traffic stop we were on to Mr. and Mrs. Glavis.
And I think you said that Mr. and Mrs. Glavis, they contacted you?
Yes, initially, I believe so.
Okay. So just for a matter of the record, how were you able to determine Mr. and Mrs. Glavis's names?
We identified them on scene. Their vehicle that they pulled up in was like a white panel van, like a work van almost. And that was described by the caller initially as well.
Okay. And to be clear, this was not the van that you had conducted the felony traffic stop on. They just pulled up behind you.
Correct. This is a second van that pulled up behind us.
Okay. So how did you get their names? Did you ask them for it? Did they offer it?
We detained them, and I asked Ms. Gladys for her ID. I believe she produced an ID for Michigan.
Okay. And you spoke to both Mr. and Mrs. Gladys?
I spoke to Ms. Gladys. I believe I spoke to Joseph briefly, helping another officer detain him, but I didn't have any statement.
That's fine. That's fine, sir. But when you spoke to him, was that for the purpose of identification?
I don't believe I ID'd him at the time. No.
Okay, that's okay. Would you recognize the person that was with Mrs. Glavis if you saw him again today?
Yes.
Would you recognize Mrs. Glavis if you saw her?
Yes.
Do you see either of those individuals in the court today, sir?
I see both.
Point to them and identify articles of clothing that each are wearing, sir.
Yes. Mrs. Gladys is wearing a black jacket. She has curly blonde hair. Mr. Gladys is wearing a gray button-up shirt.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, may the record reflect that you.
Any objections?
No objection.
So noted.
Okay, so you indicated that you had a conversation with Mrs. Glavis.
Correct.
Okay. And I think you mentioned on the record that she was detained at that time.
Correct. She was detained in handcuffs and in control her.
Okay, so had you read her Miranda rights?
I did.
Did she offer to waive any of her Miranda rights?
I asked her if she understood her rights and if she'd like to speak to me, and she responded with, yeah.
Okay, so did Ms. Glavis give you a statement?
She did.
What did she tell you?
She told me that her and Joseph had gotten a call from, I believe, their son, that somebody had taken his wallet and he was following them. So they proceeded to also follow that vehicle. And at one point, a firearm was mentioned. So I asked Ms. Gladys about the firearm. She said that she never pointed a firearm at anyone, but she did show the firearm as if to show that she meant business. I believe was her wording.
Did she say who she showed that firearm to?
I don't recall.
When she gave you that statement, did you write a reduction of that statement in a police report, sir?
I did.
Do you remember what, writing in the police reports, whether or not she said she pointed the firearm at anybody?
I believe I did reference that in my police report.
Do you remember if she said that, do you remember whether or not she said she showed it to anybody in that police report?
Your Honor, I'm gonna object. That's kind of leading. He can ask him what was said. But I mean, he's making the statement to just have the fellow say yes, to whatever the prosecutor is saying. I can't cross examine, you know.
So when I asked whether or not the defendant had said whether or not she showed it to anybody, I believe his statement was that he doesn't recall. I am trying to set a foundation to see if I can refresh the witness's memory with this report.
Your follow-up question was what?
Whether or not he had created a reduction of the conversation with the
I remember
defendant.
hearing that. Whether or not he created a police report, is that what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the leading question?
That wasn't it. It was after that. Then he
That's what I
said,
was-
then he started to verbatim say what's apparently in the police report and ask him if that's true.
Well, it wasn't
Well, say he
verbatim.
doesn't remember and he's already established that he gave a police report. Why don't we just refresh his recollection?
We'll do that, Your Honor. If I were to show you,
Justice
thank you, Your Honor. If I were to show you your police report, would it refresh your memory with respect to what the defendant would have said to you, sir?
It would.
I've seen it.
If I can direct your attention to the second to last paragraph. Sir. Does that refresh your memory, sir?
It does, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So in the statement that Ms. Glavis gave you, when she explained that she showed the gun, do you remember whether or not she said to whom she showed the gun?
To the victim to show that she was not playing, but she did not, she stated that she did not point it at anyone.
She did not point it at anybody.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. Did the defendant give you any other statement?
Defendant, which defendant?
Did Ms. Sparrow, I apologize. Did Ms. Glavis give you any further information?
No.
Did you do any investigation as to the vehicle that Ms. Glavis and Mr. Glavis were in?
I helped search the vehicle, but the firearm was already recovered at that point.
Did you check the registration or the VIN number to confirm to whom the vehicle belongs?
Yes, I believe I did.
And were you able to ascertain who the vehicle belonged to?
I believe so. I believe it's in the police report, but I don't recall if that included the direction.
If I were to show you the police report, would that help refresh your memory, sir?
It would.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Okay.
Does that refresh your memory, sir?
It does, thank you.
So were you able to determine to whom the vehicle belonged?
Yes, it was registered to Joseph Glavis.
Thank you, sir. So when, after you received the statement from Mrs. Glavis, what did you do with that information?
I spoke with other officers on scene and we determined that a flowing assault had occurred, so we arrested Ms. Glavis on.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your Honor, I have a little hearing deficit, a little hard of hearing. So if you could speak up just a little bit for me, I'd sure appreciate it.
Of course.
I apologize, Your Honor, for interrupting. but-
As I was saying, I was just saying that we spoke with other officers. I spoke with other officers on scene, and we determined at that time that we would arrest Ms. Glavis for the felonious assault and Joseph Glavis for carrying a concealed weapon without a permit.
And did you convey the information about the firearm to any other officers?
I believe we had a group of officers that were all talking, and yes, so the information about the firearm was talked about amongst everyone.
Okay, and then you mentioned earlier about a search of the van. Were you involved in that search?
After the firearm was recovered,
But not before?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know who was involved in that search?
I believe it was Officer Tory Brooks.
All right, thank you, sir. No further questions at this time.
Cross-examination.
One moment, please.
No problem.
What were you-
And actually, I do have a follow-up question. Let me just have a quick follow-up question, because I think you said that the stop took place at Turner and White. Was that in Lansing, Ingham County?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Merritt.
Your Honor, just a question, because we're having this potential bifurcated proceeding, will this officer be called back at whatever the adjourned date is? I would make inquiry of the prosecutor.
No, my intention would be to continue with the victim. I think the remainder, you'd be the only remaining witness I would need before I request and bind over. The other other witnesses are present today.
Okay, but what if the so-called victim comes out with something that
Like rebuttal
would
witness, you mean?
lead me to ask some other questions of this witness?
We can resubpoena them.
Okay.
If counsel believes that that might be necessary, and you know whom, I'd be happy to facilitate reproducing that witness, sir.
All right, very good.
It just wasn't my intention to call them back on it.
That was my question, so now I know I've got to do something further if I want this fellow back at the next hearing. With that, I have no questions for Mr. Stover today.
Thank you, Officer Stover. You're free to go.
People call Officer Tory Brooks.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give us the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
I do.
Thank you. You can state your first and last name and spell both.
Tory Brooks, TORIBROOKS.
See.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Brooks, can you tell the court with whom you are currently employed?
Lansing Police Department.
How long have you been employed with Lansing Police Department?
About 8 years.
What do you do for Lansing Police Department?
I'm on day shift patrol.
What kind of things do you do on day shift patrol?
Respond to any dispatch calls. Calls for service, essentially.
And were you working in this capacity on March 5th of this year?
Correct.
Do you recall being involved in a felony traffic stop?
I do.
Can you tell the court about that?
Yes, so on that day, I think it was right around 10 o'clock, we had gotten a call for a weapons complaint involving 2 vehicles, and 2 of my coworkers had conducted a felony stop at Turner and Dwight Street. And I got there shortly after and was assisting them with the traffic stop.
So to be clear, you were not present at the time the stop was actually made. You arrived after?
Very shortly after, yes.
Thank you, officer. Can you tell the court what you observed when you arrived at that location?
Yes, they had a white colored van. I believe it had like a green stripe throughout it, stopped, and there was a white male passenger and then a white female, white male driver and then a white female front passenger. And we were having them get out of the vehicle and detaining them.
Okay. Did you learn those individuals' names while you were on scene?
Yes, but I remember the female's name was Brianna, but I don't remember the driver's name of that vehicle at the time.
Okay. Do you remember another vehicle arriving on scene close in time?
Yes, so while we were getting them removed from that vehicle, another vehicle had pulled up behind our patrol cars on Turner Street. I believe it would have been facing westbound and was flagging us down, saying that they were involved in what we were doing.
Did you speak to either one of those individuals?
Very briefly in passing, I spoke to the female that was in that vehicle.
Okay, but to be clear, you didn't take any statements?
No.
Were you able to see who was sitting where in that vehicle when it pulled up to you?
Yeah, so there was a white male in the driver's seat of that vehicle and then a white female in the front passenger seat of that vehicle.
Okay, and again, to be clear for the record, these individuals got out and flagged down officers. You observed this?
Yes.
Okay, and then did you observe officers taking statements from those individuals?
I did.
Okay. While you were on scene, did you take part in a search of anybody's vehicles?
Yes.
Which vehicle? Because we have two vehicles there. Can you explain to the court which vehicle you searched?
Yes, there was the
I'm
vehicle.
sorry, I want to object to that. My understanding is there's 3 vehicles there. It's a misstatement to say 2 vehicles. There's a so-called victims vehicle, which had been stopped. The one that was initially involved in the stop, and then my client's vehicle. So there's 3. To say it's 2 stopped, I don't think it's accurate.
I may have misspoke, but the meaning behind the question was for the court to understand specifically which vehicle on scene is the one that the officer is going to testify about having been searched.
Okay, so there's 3 vehicles. Objection sustained.
Yes, so not the white van and then not the green Tahoe that were originally involved in the initial stop. It was the vehicle that came up behind us and parked behind us on Turner Street.
Okay,
Is the
thank you.
vehicle that I searched.
Thank you. I apologize for misspeaking. So, so this is the vehicle you saw the male and female passenger that was waving you down?
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell the court about your search?
Yes, so as I was approaching that vehicle, another officer on scene was talking to the female that was coming out of the front passenger seat and was at that time placing her in handcuffs, doing a search of her. She had said, as I was passing her, that there was a firearm located inside the vehicle. We asked where it was, and she told me it was inside a rolled up carpet in between the driver's seat and the front passenger seat of this van.
Okay, so I just want to ask a follow-up on that because you said earlier that you did not take anybody's statement.
No, I did not take a statement.
So you did not read anybody the Miranda rights, correct?
No.
Okay. When you learned this information from the female passenger, did she tell you this because you asked her where where anything was in the vehicle?
No, I did not ask her.
Did she volunteer this information to you?
From my understanding, yes, she had volunteered that to the other officer that she was dealing with.
And you heard this?
Correct.
Okay. So what did you do with that information?
So due to it being a super hectic scene, we didn't have anybody securing that firearm inside the vehicle. I went inside the vehicle, located it right where she said it was at, inside the rolled up carpet in between the driver's seat and the front passenger seat.
So did you get a good look at the interior of this vehicle?
Yes.
Was it a large vehicle?
Yeah, it was like a work van type vehicle.
Was there a center console?
No, there's not a center console. So basically the whole back of the vehicle was like a work van. Essentially, there was a bunch of tools and other things all over in the back. And then that long carpet ran from like almost the back of the van, close to the back of the van to that front where the 2 seats were at.
Okay. And then between the driver's seat and the passenger seat, did you see anything that would obstruct the view of, say, the passenger seat to the driver's seat or vice versa?
No.
So the front of the cab then wide open just with respect to where the seats are?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Did you find anything else of evidentiary value inside that vehicle?
Not that I can recall, just the firearm inside that rolled up carpet.
Thank you, officer. No further questions this time.
Cross-examination.
Your Honor, and I want to apologize. Typically, I would get to my feet before I address the court. I got a pinched nerve in my back.
I assume something's going
Thanks.
on.
I wanted to let you know.
You've been here multiple times. I know how you typically are, so.
Thanks, Judge. Were you made aware as part of this? My understanding is that there were 2 911 calls. The young man and Brianna that you mentioned, they had also made a 911 call. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I knew that there was multiple callers at the time when we were trying to figure everything out, because it came out multiple, like dispatch kept advising us other people were calling. At that time, I can't say that I remember what the names of the callers were, but I knew there were multiple 911 calls, yes.
From basically both sides.
From multiple parties.
Yeah. Were you aware that there were allegations in this other 911 call that Mr. Sterling had stolen the wallet of the young man in that first van?
I'm going to object for lack of foundation. So far on the record, we've not established who Mr. Sterling is.
Okay.
Objection sustained.
Are you aware of who was in the Tahoe? 3 vehicles, Tahoe.
No, we did not know who was in, I did not know who was in which vehicle, no.
Okay. Did you know that he was the person complaining about a firearm on the 911 call?
We knew that the person in the in a green Tahoe was complaining at the white van that we had did the felony stop on. There was supposed to be a firearm in that vehicle or somehow involved.
Involved.
Yes.
Okay. But you're not aware that there was any complaints made against that other fella who had said about there's a firearm involved as to what he may have done or didn't do?
So I learned that as we were on scene, but with how quickly the dispatch call came out and how we located it, no, we didn't know all of that until after we made contact.
Are you aware, did you or any other officers, to your knowledge, do any search of that Tahoe to see if that stolen wallet was in it?
I know an officer asked, I do not know of a search.
Asked?
If the other guy,
fella.
yes, that if there was a wallet in the van, I cannot say that it was searched, but I know that the question was asked to him.
You mean in the Tahoe?
Yes, correct.
Is that a van?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Is that a van?
I'm gonna object for relevance.
Well, the testimony is that they did a search of my client's vehicle. And I'm just wondering, did they do a search of the other vehicle?
But you're asking, is a Tahoe a van? That you're asking?
Yeah, she had said the van, and I'm confused because I didn't think a Tahoe was a van.
No, so I'm saying.
Okay, I gotta address the objection.
So we're here for today for a felonious assault and concealed carry complaints. So I'm just trying to get the relevance for this wallet with respect to the CCW and felonious assault.
What's the relevance?
That's what brought about this whole incident. The fact
wallet?
that the
Or
so-called victim
was it a call, a 911 call about someone being chased with a firearm?
The initial 911 call was this fellow has stolen my wallet.
Allegedly.
I've heard it. Allegedly stole it, correct.
But this would be facts not yet in evidence then.
Correct. You're talking about this individual who was in the green Tahoe who called 911. No.
This Brianna, she mentioned her name.
Correct.
Called 911 and was on the 911 call for about 20 minutes saying, this guy has stolen my baby daddy's wallet and we're following him around town.
Because there was multiple 911 calls, obviously.
Correct.
So you're talking about a different 911 call. And so you're asking if there was a call about a stolen wallet or if that's what they were responding to?
Yes, I'm trying to figure out, were they only looking at it from one side? Are they only being told information about?
No, I guess it goes to the nature of, well, I guess what the investigation was for. We can get clarity as to was she responding or.
Yeah, did she have any knowledge about this stolen wallet and what did they do?
I'll allow that to answer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Objection overruled.
So going back, so you know this fellow in the Tahoe had made a call, something about a gun involved.
So we knew there's, yes, multiple,
And that's-
multiple calls, multiple
That's why,
information was coming in while we were essentially stopping that vehicle.
right.
Information was still coming in.
And so at some point you had information from someone, either from the 911 call or Mr. Glavis, or somebody said, this fella has either my son's wallet, or the son said he's got my wallet. And I'm trying to determine, did any search take place of that Tahoe to see whether that wallet was in there?
So what I was trying to explain is Brianna had then gave me the statement about the wallet and how they believed the man in the green Tahoe could have their wallet.
Right.
I did not make contact with the male in the green Tahoe, but speaking to my coworkers on scene, I was told that they asked him about the wallet, but I cannot speak to if the green Tahoe was searched.
Can you tell me which officers, which of your colleagues on the scene you talked to who would have interaction with the fellow in the Tahoe about this wallet?
I know there was more than one, but I know for a fact Officer Boysen was one of the main ones that spoke to the male in the green Tahoe.
And could you say his name again?
It's female Officer Bridget Boysen.
I
think it's Voisin.
Later on, you said you were walking back to assist her to help the officers, but how many officers were out there? Half dozen?
I would say at least the ones that I can remember, myself, Officer Tyler Silver, Officer Pete Howard, Officer Armando Pellegrino, and Officer Bridget Boysen. Those are the main ones that I remember.
Okay. So you said that you walked back to the van that had come on the scene, the third vehicle.
Yes, the one that was parked on
Right.
Turner Street behind
And
our
the-
patrol vehicles.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Mrs. Glavis was talking to another officer and you overheard her say something about a weapon being in a rolled up carpet.
Yes,
What officer was that?
Tyler Silver.
That was Officer Stowe.
Correct.
I think you also mentioned that at some point you looked back and you saw officers taking statements of the people in the third vehicle, the husband and wife.
Yes, the one on Turner.
Who were those officers? Stover and another one, or that you can recall?
I want to say it was Officer Pellegrino, but I can't say with 100% certainty. But
So
I'm
Stover for sure and possibly Pellegrino?
correct.
Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
Okay. There was one roll of carpet in the carpet van. Did you notice anything on the side of the van that something like said Joe's Flooring?
I do remember it was some type of, yes, business, but I couldn't remember if it was flooring or exactly what. But yes, I knew it was a work van for a business.
I just have. Was there just one roll of carpet in the back of that van, or were there more than one? Can you recall?
I can't recall. I think it was one large one, but I cannot say 100% certainty.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
No redirect, Your Honor.
Thank you, Officer Brooks. You may be excused. Thank you.
I'll be right back. Okay, thank you. Sure.
Okay, cool.
Your Honor, people call Officer Peter Howard.
Thank you. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can unseat. State your first and last name is spelled out.
Peter Howard, PeterHoward.
Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Howard, can you tell the court with whom you are currently employed, sir?
The Lansing Police Department,
How long have you been employed with Lansing Police Department?
approximately 11.5 years.
Okay, and what are your current responsibilities with LPD, sir?
General road patrol day shift.
What do you do as a road patrol on day shift?
I respond to calls for service, take reports, speak to people, speak to businesses.
Were you working in this capacity on March 5th of this year, sir?
I was.
Were you involved in a felony traffic stop that day?
No.
Did you arrive to a location where a felony traffic stop had taken place?
Yes.
Can you tell the court about that, sir?
Yes. So there was a call for service. It started out as a larceny of a wallet. There were several subjects following the person they believed to have taken the wallet. It turned into the person that they were following called the police and said a gun had been pointed at them. Other officers located both callers, the person that had supposedly taken this wallet and the people that were following them. They performed a felony stop on that vehicle. I arrived as that was happening. As I arrived, another van pulled up. So there's two white vans. There's the van that arrived when I arrived, and then there's a van they already had stopped.
What did you do when you arrived on scene?
So I went to go assist other officers as this other white van pulled up. The driver of that van got out and I told him to get back in the van. Someone said that there was a gun in that vehicle. So myself and Officer Stover detained the male that jumped out or that got out of that van prior to him getting back.
Were you able to identify this individual?
Yes.
How were you able to do that?
I believe it was a Michigan ID. Driver's license.
Did you ask him for his ID and it was shown to you?
I believe so.
Okay. And did you get this person's name?
I did.
What was his name?
Joseph Glavis.
Would you recognize him if you saw him today?
I believe so.
Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Can you point to him and identify him?
I'll stipulate that my client is the individual the officer's testifying to.
Yes, gray shirt over here.
So noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. So you detained this individual?
Correct.
Did you read this individual his rights?
I did.
And did he waive any of these rights?
He did not, or he agreed to answer my questions.
So he waived his right to remain silent?
Yeah.
And he gave you a statement, sir?
Yes.
What was that statement?
He said that he was over at a residence, I believe it's on Bench Street, to pick up his son. When they got there, there was a female at the residence that said that he had dropped his wallet and a gentleman, another person had picked it up. This was the person that they were following in this other vehicle around the city. So this person that supposedly picked up the wallet left the driveway, sounded like he was driving recklessly. They ended up following him through the city. And eventually where we made contact with them up in the area of Turner and White Street, I believe.
Okay.
After I detained him from the vehicle, obviously read him his rights, I asked him about the gun that was alleged to have been in the vehicle. He said that he does own a firearm. He says he usually keeps it next to the driver's seat in the van. I asked him if he had brought it into his house last night when he got home. He said he does not remember if he brought it into the house last night, so he does not know if the gun was in the vehicle currently today. He said at no point in the situation that occurred that day was a gun ever involved.
That was his statement to you?
Yes.
Did he describe to you pursuing another individual? Is that what he said?
Yes.
How did he describe that pursuit?
He said the other vehicle was driving recklessly and that at one point in time, the other vehicle's actions almost caused him to hit a car or have a car to hit him.
But he said he was pursuing that.
He was following them around the city.
Did he tell you anything about what he did while he was pursuing that vehicle?
I don't recall that.
But he did tell you intentionally he was following that vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, officer, thank you very much. No further questions.
Thank you.
Cross-examination.
I have no questions.
Thank you, Officer Howard.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead. additional witnesses?
Could I have a moment to speak with the prosecuting attorney, Your Honor?
Absolutely, off the record. Okay, we're back on the record. We've adjourned for the day, or you have other witnesses?
I believe the parties have come to an agreement on how to resolve this case, Your Honor. The people were able to make an offer on 25708 FY. The people are offering to amend the charge to improper transport. I've got a plea sheet that's being drawn up right now, and that would come with a Killebrew agreement to no upfront jail. On 25707 FY, people are offering I think it's count 1 CCW. It's the balance, added count 4 of brandishing a firearm and an agreement to no upfront jail. Offer expires after the first circuit court pre-trial. It's my understanding that the council has communicated that offer and that the parties want to take advantage of it.
That's accurate and correct, Your Honor.
That's accurate?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, any plea sheets for both too as well?
I think we have a plea sheet for Mr.
And for vice rights. You have a plea sheet for both files?
Just for Mr. Glavis, Your Honor.
Oh, he's gonna wait.
plea will
I know
be in
he's got it.
circle.
She's gonna wait. Got it.
So I think, actually, can you see her file?
I'm sorry?
Do we need to sign the waiver?
You do.
for the-
Okay, so
Thank you,
Ms. Glavis, you understand that you have the right to continue with your preliminary examination and the right to require that the prosecution establish sufficient probable cause that the felonies alleged were committed and then sufficient probable cause to charge you as the person who committed them.
Yes.
And you wish to unconditionally waive your exam?
Yes.
Okay, is anyone threatening you to do that?
Nope.
Any promises being made to you if you waive the rest of your exam?
No, Your Honor.
So you're waiving it freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's in here.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be closer to the
There
back.
it is. Okay. The last page. Sure.
Stephanie. No. Your waiver sign right there.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, thank you. Okay, Mrs. Glavis, your bind over date is gonna be April 23rd. That's the date the circuit court gets the file from the district court. You do not have to appear in circuit court that date. Do you understand that? Okay, you will not be arraigned in the circuit court unless Mr. Narrett files a motion to get you rearranged for some reason, okay? Otherwise, your next court date in circuit court will be a pre-trial. Do you have any questions for the court at this time? Okay, your bond was at a 2,000 personal recognizance, and that will continue. I have the state sheet here. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, there's an advice of rights and plea information sheet there. Gonna go over those rights with you. You have the right, sir, to proceed to a trial in this matter. You are represented by counsel and you have the right to representation by counsel and the right to be represented by an attorney at all of your court dates and if you're questioned by law enforcement. And you have the right to maintain your innocence. So you're presumed innocent until proven guilty, and you can require the prosecution prove each element of the charges being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand those rights? You have the right to proceed to a jury trial and maintain silence at that trial, not have that silence be used against you. You have the right to subpoena witnesses that will testify on your behalf. You have the right to present evidence at trial that you believe show a defense. to the charges being brought against you, and the right to see, hear, or question in court any of the witnesses that the prosecutor calls to testify against you. Those are all rights that you would have to give up today if you wanted to plead guilty to the amended charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you would like to plead guilty to the amended charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone promising you anything not stated here on the record if you plead guilty to the amended charge of improper transport?
No, Your Honor.
Any threats being made to you that make you want to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, you currently on probation or on parole?
No.
Okay. You understand that by entering a guilty plea, you may have to report this conviction on a future job application, or you may have to report it to your current employer if that was an issue.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. As to the amended charge of improper transport, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Is that because you believe you are guilty?
Yes.
Factual basis, counsel? I don't have a police report.
Mr. Glavis, on the state in March, that there's been testimony too. Were you in your van with your wife, Stephanie?
Yes.
Did you have a pistol in the van with you?
Yes.
Was it secured in a locked box with no ammunition?
No.
So it was loaded and unsecured, correct?
Yes.
I believe that satisfies it, Your Honor. And that it's March, what was the date of this?
March 5th.
March 5th?
Okay.
Was that in the city of Lansing, County of Ingham?
City of Lansing, Ingham County.
Yes.
At or near Turner and White, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you have a factual basis.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, may I have just a moment?
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure it's. Does he have to say noon? He doesn't have to say.
Yeah.
It's criminal history.
Yeah, Your Honor, just one question, sir. On that date and time when when the gun was being transported improperly, you knew the gun was in the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
No further,
Yes.
no further questions, Your Honor.
One other, you did not have a valid concealed carry permit at that time, did you?
No.
Thank you. The court is satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea and find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, and intelligently made. I'm just waiting for his CCH. Is that to decide if I'm going to do immediate sentencing or not?
I don't, I was gonna say, okay. I'm not from 20. Oh, gotcha. I'm not gonna, if the judge wants to.
Right.
It wasn't a con.
Yeah.
Fine is $100. When can you pay?
I'll pay it today.
Okay, we'll get you to the criminal traffic window. Any additional matters for the record?
Not for the people.
I'm sorry?
Nothing further, Your Honor?
I don't have cash on me today. Can I come back before 5 to pay it?
Absolutely. If you're sure you're gonna come back today?
I promise you I will.
I'm just asking because I have to put when you're gonna pay, and if you don't pay, when you say, then they will ask for a show cause or everyone. I know
sorry.
that you'll pay today, so you can come back and pay it. Thank you.
Off the record.
Off the record.